This is Beyond the Noise from Arrow Health. Real voices, raw stories, and the truth about addiction, recovery, and life.
Today, Josh and I are here with Ruben. Ruben is someone we've known for a very long time, so welcome, Ruben.
Thanks for having me.
Today, we want to talk about, I guess, your journey into addiction and your resilience in trying and continuing to try even when you have setbacks. A lot of people think that their kids or themselves, they go to rehab and it's a magic bullet and everything's going to be great. And most of the time that's not the case. And I think your journey is such an interesting one because we've witnessed so much of your pain and so much of your growth at the same time. So I'm really looking forward to chatting with you today.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, it definitely hasn't been a straight path. It's been ups and downs. Where do I start? Just from?
Well, where did it start?
Where did it
start? Like, what happened? When did you pick up?
I picked up at probably 12 or 13.
Yep.
But for me, like I was thinking about it on the train down here. I remember going to like prep. And I used to just like have this, I was like a very anxious and like scared kid. And I used to just chew on the sleeve of my hoodie. And like I used to just like all day I'd just be chewing on it like to the point where it'd be like bitten off. So I think like from very early on, like I was just had a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear. I never knew that sort of at the time. It's only now looking back. But yeah, I started smoking pot. That would have been the first thing. And pretty much from the start it was to numb, you know, it was never really social. Like I had a couple of mates that I'd smoke pot with, but from the very start it was like, okay, this makes me feel better, so I'm going to keep doing this.
And you remember that? You remember like that was numbing even then, like?
Yeah, I just felt better.
And it got rid of that anxiety, which I assume continued on into your teenage years.
Absolutely, yeah. But when I was younger, I had a lot of anger as well. And I noticed like if I was stoned, I wasn't angry. I could just deal with stuff better. But like pretty much from the start, it was like I love this, and I'm gonna like smoke it before school, and I'll go like, you know, and that's sort of what I focused on, was just smoking pot. That's where it started anyway, yeah.
And at the time, you know, your mum, did she know?
Yeah, mum definitely knew, yeah. And it was sort of this like, I guess it was hard for her. I guess she didn't really know what to do,
100%.
for one. And yeah, She didn't really know what to do. Like she couldn't stop me. I was going to do it anyway, and it sort of got to the point where I ended up moving into my best mate's place, who's we could sort of just do what we wanted there, like smoke bongs in the lounge room, whatever. And I thought this is where it's at.
How good was things like that? Like I relate to that. Like the friend who had no rules.
Yeah,
like you just did what you wanted.
I could do what I want, and you know, I could go missing for the whole weekend or even during the weekend. It was just like, it was sort of the thing where it's like no news is good news, you know. If I was gone, and like it was like no news is good news, and I guess mum sort of knew what I was getting up to, but didn't really know what to do or didn't know how to sort of manage it. But yeah, it progressed pretty quick.
So how old were you when you moved into your mate's house?
From about 14, 15, 16, I was there a fair bit, yeah. Yeah. And by 15, 16, it was, like pills and all that sort of stuff. And then pretty quickly it was like meth on the weekends. And that's when it really got out of control.
And so how did you go from smoking weed, you know, which brings you down, to then going, meth. That's what I'm picking up next.
Well, it would start at like going out. And I remember I was going through my brother's room looking for like pot and stuff, and I found like these MD caps and pills and stuff, and I just took them. And then I was at my mate's house, and we just like had them like on a, I don't know, it was like a weeknight, and we were just like, this is mad, like, and we were just like, and And then the way I sort of see it now is like there was like these lines and like I didn't realise, but at the time I was just like crossing them until it just became normal. But yeah, like I remember like I'd see people out or like at parties and stuff and they'd be in the back room smoking pipes or like doing juice and stuff. And I was like, I'm never going to do that. It's disgusting. I didn't like the way people were acting and it sort of had this like stigma to it. I was like, I'm never going to do that.
Yeah.
And then just one decision, I'm like, I'm hanging off a pipe, and then it was like, this is normal now. But it was it started off as like, I'll keep it kind of dark because there was a lot of other friends that sort of still had that mindset. So it was like, I was sort of like hiding it here and there.
So this is where the addiction's really kicked in now because you're hiding stuff.
Yeah. And I guess I was always sort of hiding stuff. Like even with smoking pot, it was the same mindset sort of thing. I was still always hiding it. But even at school, like I got caught at school with a pot. Like when I think about it, like I sort of think like my using became problematic when I started using ice, but it was problematic from the start, I'd say. Like it interfered with like going to school and like my relationships with people. I only really wanted to hang around people that would sort of allow me to do that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely more just to like feel like just to numb a lot of stuff. At the time, I didn't even realise sort of what it was, I don't think. But I just knew that this is what made me feel better. And like I found, I guess I found some sort of connection and belonging in people that use drugs as well. Yeah.
So does it really take off? Like you start using meth and things really take off? Like it just gets worse?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it got worse in the way that like mental health wise, like I was very quick like into like psychosis, psych wards. Like I've lost count how many times I've been in a psych ward, and it was just like a very for me it's like a reckless thing, a self-destructive thing. And yeah, like it always ended badly. And it, like I got to the point where I didn't want to be around anyone. Like if I had drugs, I'd sit in a room just by myself, just using.
Yeah. And I've always known you to like when you use. Like there's no like we're not easing into things. We're going all out. Like you know. And has that always been the way? Like, or did that progressively get worse? Say every time you went to treatment and relapsed, or.
I think like before I ever went into treatment or anything like that, I think definitely like I'd still use I'd be sort of like the one that wants to keep going, all that sort of stuff. And like I have to use it all the time, no matter what it was, whether it started off with like pot and I'd smoke that all the time. And then whatever it was, I just had to have as much as I could. But with meth, it was definitely just like all drugs, but meth is probably the most self-destructive for me. It was just like I want to like just destruct myself as much as I can and just take myself as far away from reality. And then like GHB and all that sort of stuff, it got to the point where it was like the only time I really escaped my own head and my stuff was like when I'm pretty much unconscious or like I'm that out of it that it's dangerous. And so it did become very dangerous for me.
When did you first decide you were going to go to rehab?
I don't think I decided. Yeah.
Well, how did that happen? How did that come about?
I kept going into hospital for stuff, and then what my mum, her family friend was like, I think he needs to go to rehab, because I was always told I was an addict. I was like, you're a drug addict. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a drug addict. Like I was sort of like, that's all right. I didn't really know anything different, but what got me was I got a bunch of opiates, and when I started using them, like my family were like, oh, we need to get him into rehab. And I think I was 19 when I first went into rehab.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And I didn't know. I thought I was going in there just to give up some drugs and come out and be able to like still drink and do like the drugs that I didn't think were that harmful.
Yeah.
But
so how long did you stay for? How long was that first rehab?
I think just 30 days. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So you come out and you're in the mindset of like, oh yeah, I'm just not going to use like opiates or, I'm still gonna
I'm not
drink,
going to use meth. I'll just use like coke because that's socially acceptable sort of thing. Well, it was in sort of the people I was around.
Yeah.
And I still sort of had some like good friends that could just go out on the weekends and party, and then it's like they sort of were catching on that I was doing this. And eventually I lost all those people. They're like, well, I don't want to be around that stuff. And then before I know it, like the only people that really wanted to be around me are people that are using like meth and stuff like that. And so then I was just like, well, yeah, I was sort of in, but rehab sort of planted a seed in my head. And I think that's why I was like, I'd go back out and I did try to just use sort of manageably, and very quickly I was like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And then like I'd go back and then I got introduced to like youth like programs like for housing, and like I just thought the drugs were the problem. Like I thought if I give up drugs then like and just get out of the area I'm in, then I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
But then like a lot of the time I'd give up drugs and I'd feel sort of like worse.
Yeah. So you're feeling worse. And we always say this, don't we, Josh, that when you go to rehab, like we kind of ruin you using, like it's ruined.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did that happen from the first time you went to treatment? Like it was ruined? Like it was still like there was just something in the back of your mind where you're just like, oh my God.
Yeah, because whatever happened in using, whether it was like my mental health was really bad or I had some sort of consequence of my behavior due to like my drug use, it was like, well, I've been shown this other way now. So like I can't blame people. It sort of breaks down the denial for me.
Yeah.
Which now looking back, I'm sort of grateful for that stuff.
Yeah.
Or like I can appreciate it. But at the time it was like, fuck. It sort of just made me feel even more guilty and more like have a bit more shame, because it was like, what am I doing? So I'd go back, and it's been like slow learning for me.
So how many times have you been to rehab now?
A lot.
How many?
Yeah.
How many?
I don't know. I don't know. Probably 10.
10,
including detoxes and stuff like that.
And so people, to me, I feel like that's really normal.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like it's really, really normal. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, especially families, think that it's just a one-off thing. And although when you go into treatment, you'll have this, I guess, like a moment of clarity because you presented options outside of you using.
Yeah.
But then you create this conflict because you still want to escape yourself and you still need tools to kind of get through all the emotions and stuff. But you're in conflict because you do have the option of using, but you know that there's another way where you can stay clean. So, yeah, it's not just a one-off thing most of the time,
100%.
right? Yeah.
And that's what I think is really important for people to know. Even anyone going into treatment, you mightn't get it the first time.
Yeah.
And I suppose, and we chatted about this the other day, and I guess the point of this is something I think you're discovering now is that it isn't actually yes, the drugs are a problem, but they're not the problem.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, like I wish it was that simple.
So do I. Imagine how easy our jobs would be. If the drugs were just the problem, it would be so simple.
Yeah.
Like imagine, do a detox, stick around for a few weeks and off you go.
Yeah. Well, like it's sort of what I've been told. It's like you want to find out why you're using, take away the drugs and like you'll find out why you use, sort of thing. And that's definitely the case for me. I don't need drugs to sort of like there's a lot of other areas in my life that sort of I can act out on and like sort of get myself into trouble, or like the feelings, like to cope with my feelings, and that's been a journey in itself. Like I'd sort of learn things about myself and be like, oh, that doesn't really apply, and then I'd have to like go out and keep doing the same things, and I always get the same results, and that I end up using again. So yeah, it's been like slow learning.
Is it discovering why you're in pain, what that emotional pain is, and discovering that, and then you sort of, your eyes are opened, and then you're like, shit, now I've got to work through this without drugs and get to the other side. And I suppose that's really where you're, like after 10 or more times in rehab, over, 8 or 9 years, that's where you're at now.
Yeah. it's not so much about the drugs. Like I don't necessarily, today like drugs. I'm done with drugs, but it's all the other behaviors and stuff that I need to work on that sort of trip me up. Relationships are a big one. Like if a relationship goes to like breaks up, then it's like it brings up all this stuff from when I'm and it's misplaced emotions and feelings that I haven't dealt with properly. Stuff like that, and just a lot of it's like belonging. Like I take drugs away, and it's like, well, what do I do now?
Yeah,
and it's like it's a bit of, and I think everyone goes through that.
do you feel like because that time is spent, there's so much time using, scoring, all of that when you're in this space now where you're clean and you're on this journey, but it's like, what do you do? Like what do I do with my time? What do I do? Like, and we always say have a routine, but sometimes it's hard. How do you fill a day up when you haven't been doing anything really?
Well, when I'm using, even when it's the getting it, like I'm spending my time trying to get money to get on. Yeah. And then when I'm using it, it's like, well, how can I maintain this? It's just constantly like it consumes every part of your life to the point where it becomes that's all it is. It's like, because I got no time to do anything else. And no one wants to be around you. Like, everyone, and that's all it sort of becomes. And, but I'm just like lucky that there has been people that have like stood by me, you guys included. Like even when I've fallen off, it's like there's people there, and I think that goes a long way, 100%. But it doesn't matter how many people are around me with their hands out willing to help me. I have to do the work at the end of the day. Like I'm stuck with me. And it doesn't matter how much support's around me. If I'm not willing to put one foot in front of the other, then it'd be hard, Yeah,
well, and I think that is absolutely key to treatment, to getting recovery, because I suppose an example would be, your most recent relapse, like we all knew it was happening.
Yeah.
And you go missing.
Yeah.
And it's, it's like we've laughed about the little things like, next thing, Facebook Marketplace and you're selling everything. Yeah. And we know, he's not great. He's not good. And we're there and we're saying, come to us, do you want us to come get you? What do you want us to do? But you're just away now, like you're doing it and we can't help you until you say, yes, I want help. And I suppose from my perspective and you being the same, trying to support people, it's really hard, like from our side of things, because you're there and we're like, we're right here, like we're just right here. Yeah. But you're so in it, and then, the shame and all that, it's really hard to get people to take that step because they have to be ready.
Yeah.
So in saying that, what's sort of the headspace that you're at? When your last relapse, like you knew that there were people there to support you. What was it that was stopping you from making that sort of step, or what kind of delayed the process?
To be honest, it was like a lot of shame and guilt. And like I'd have to face like own my stuff, because like even before I started using, I was in sort of a situation that like I was being dishonest around. Like it all started like well before sort of picking up. Like it could have been prevented, I think. And then when the opportunity, like I had surgery and it was like I'm using, but when I look back, it started like well before there. Like I was in this relationship that was very codependent, and it sort of fueled that thing that using had. And like there was a lot of guilt and shame, and I like sort of had to put out this image like I'm in recovery, but so when like I was in a position where like I was using, it was like I spent like nearly 2 years building, like getting my own place, sort of like trying to sort of get stability. And like the minute I use, like it's like the fridge is going, the washing machine's going, everything's going. So there's this part of me that's like I sold everything in the house. Like I had this puppy and I was even thinking about selling that.
Yeah, this is how I knew things weren't good.
So there's a part of me that's just like reckless, I don't care, and I'll do what it takes to get on. But there's also the other part of me that's like guilt, shame. I've been shown this way, and to like say to people, "Oh, I'm using again." It's like I'm so sick of that, you know. Like I should know better by now. Yeah, that's sort of that headspace.
Just tired of it.
Yeah.
Do you think, because like we talked about how you've got to deal with the underlying stuff, like that's ultimately it. Like when you deal with the underlying stuff, so you got 2 years up, which was incredible. But if you look at it now, do you think by the time you relapsed, you'd worked so hard to grip onto that because you hadn't worked on your stuff. So you were gripping onto every moment of that. So then when you relapse, it's like, just, you know, like almost like it's difficult to maintain your recovery when you haven't done the work. So you're in recovery, but recovery isn't you. Like you're just doing it, but it's not you.
And like the more I think about it, if I'm completely honest, it's like I was abstinent from drugs. I wasn't necessarily actively in recovery.
Like a dry drunk.
Yes.
It's like I was saying, I'm like I'm this amount of time clean, but you know, I'm still engaged. Like for me, it's like gambling as well, like unhealthy relationships and that codependency stuff. It's like I can't work on my stuff if I'm still engaged in this relationship that sort of, you know, and so like I feel like I'm in more recovery now in this short amount of time than I was at times when I was like 2 years clean. Like maybe from the outside and like it would look like, you know, I got my stuff together, but I wasn't dealing with anything.
Yeah, and that's where people would get really, especially with their loved ones or, you know, whatever, but they would be really happy, oh my God, it's been a year, it's been 2 years or whatever. But if they haven't done that work, it's inevitable that one day it's all going to fall over.
Yeah.
Like if that whatever the issue is going to come up again.
Yeah.
You know, and that I think that's really difficult to consider. And I suppose anyone in that situation would be really hard to think, oh, yeah, I'm in recovery, but I know there's something wrong. So does that mean I'm going to relapse? I would say, probably.
Yeah, there's multiple ways to avoid your problems.
Yeah.
You know, so just because you're not using doesn't mean that you're in recovery, right? So you got into this relationship. When did you realize that it was probably you were being avoidant or you weren't really doing your recovery during the relationship?
Probably from the start. Like when I look back, it was probably from the start. And like everyone around me was like, I don't think like this, like they're like, isn't this a pattern for you? Like to just like fall in love and you know, think I'm falling in love, you know.
But what was it? Even if it was right at the beginning, what was it?
It felt good.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, this feels good. You know, I don't feel alone. Feels nice to have someone, you know, but like I say, it feels good. But there was also a lot of stuff. Like I had a lot of insecurities and it was very like enmeshed and stuff. So a lot of the time it was just anxiety. Like I just constantly anxiety. It was like, well, if I lose this or if like I don't get, you know, it was very need based. It wasn't healthy. And none of my relationships have been. I don't know how to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
I don't like, you know, I don't. So it's like that's what it's been over the years is like learning to navigate that stuff. And when I first went into rehab and was trying a recovery, like I didn't think that getting in a relationship would be a problem. I didn't think like gambling would be a problem. I didn't think like all these other things that people said, oh, be careful, that would be a problem. But it's always sort of led me back to drugs. Every time pretty much.
And so what have you done differently this time, like that you think is going to like set you on the right path? Like how are you approaching things this time? Because you're so much more cautious and optimistic, but you're not that like, I've got this. You're like, I feel like you're really focused on doing the work.
Yeah.
So what for you is going to happen differently this time?
It's hard. I don't know. Like, one thing, I came in a lot more like willing to like try different things. And it's also like I'm in no denial around like my other stuff. And I'm like like I'll get support around that stuff. I think like the last recovery, I don't even want to look at my codependency and stuff like that. But now it's like it's not so much about the drugs. It's like that's a clear problem for me. I want to look at all the underlying stuff. And I think just having because if I'm not willing to look at it, then like nothing's going to change. But
and we're just going to keep doing this over and over again.
And just I think just being open and like willing to actually look at that stuff and take advice and stuff on from people. Because my thing was like I'd get in a relationship with the people around me, they'd be like, oh, like you're doing it again. I'm like, yeah, this time will be different. It's like it's not going to be different because I'm still the same. So yeah, I just want to try and really discover and sit with all that uncomfortable like feelings that I feel. Like I don't have to change it like necessarily. Like I think a big part of it is just feeling it and being okay with it. Like it's not gonna, I don't need to like sort of numb those feelings anymore.
Yeah.
But I don't think I ever used to give my chance to like see if it passes. Like they say, oh, these feelings will pass. It's like, well, like whatever. I never gave myself the chance to let it pass. It's like I feel something, I'll use or I'll do, and then it's like, yeah. So
it's hard, isn't it? Like when we treat our feelings as fact.
Yeah.
Like when we feel stuff, we think that we're going to feel it forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And act out on those feelings. It's like.
Would you say it's taken you, though, until now to be ready to sit with those feelings? Because if I go back to, I think it was the last time that you came to us and you blew out when you arrived.
Yeah.
And it's always something me and Maz talk about. And we already had a really good relationship. And so it was really like, oh, it was, what's going on? Like he's not meant to do this here, like him of all people, you know? So, and I remember, we argued, you and me, that admission, we argued so much. And then I told you that you were going to go to long term and all that. And that's how it was. And you didn't want to do it. And we were arguing and you went. And I know that we gave you all the same information that we've given you now because I knew you just as well then as I know you now. And I know Josh did and everyone else did. And so it's a matter of, so we keep repeating the same information to you and giving you that support, but you ultimately had to be ready. Like you had to be ready to do the work.
And I think that's a big thing. Like I can, intellectually, I can like know all this stuff or learn all these things, but it's useless unless I'm going to put it into action. And I think it takes it sort of takes blind faith in a way. It's like knowing all this stuff. It's like I'm just going to do it. It's because it's like I don't know the results. It's like I don't. So it's like I just have to like trust that the people around me that have done it before, are like they know what's best. And it's like I'm just going to do that. And I think the willingness comes from like pain. Like I think like I had to be in enough pain. Like I was in pain with my drug use, like I wanted, but that's like the other areas. It's like, okay, this is bringing me a lot of pain. It's not working. So I think pain makes me willing.
I honestly believe that is a thing, and I say it all the time. I say there's some people that come into treatment when they're young, and it doesn't necessarily have to be young, but this is what we see, and they haven't hit rock bottom yet. They haven't hit it, and so we know that it's not really going to work. We give them a bit of a break in treatment, and then they go back out there and, eventually they're going to use again because life hasn't really given it to them yet. And then on the other end of that, you've got people who are much, much older who have had so much pain that it's too much. So it's almost like there's a recipe for, it sounds terrible, but just the right amount of pain for people to go, I need to do this now. And that's almost like what you came with this time, like, okay, like it hurts now. Yeah. I can't keep doing this.
And I was pretty used to like burning my life to the ground, like the relationship, all that sort of stuff just going. Like I'd get a job and like that stuff was like, I was used to that. But there was like this deep pain where it's like, I want this, like I need to really look at this and I want it to stop. because in the early days, I think it was just like I wanted the consequences to stop. And I'd go into like youth housing and stuff like that, pretty much just so I had somewhere to live. It was like, all right, I'll go to a detox and I'll go stay here. I've got somewhere to live. I didn't really want to look at my stuff. I just wanted consequences to stop. But I think over time, like eventually, there's like I was in enough. Like, it's. I think people have to be in enough pain. Well, that's my experience anyway, of doing the same thing over and over again.
It has to hurt. And it's almost, like if someone tips over into too much pain, I see them as they just can't do it. Like it's a lifelong thing. And if it's not enough, they're going to keep going like you did until it hurts enough. And how does the reoccurring relapse and going back into treatment, how do you reckon that impacts people around you, like those that you love? I know it's a big one, isn't it? Because ultimately you've got to do this for yourself, but I guess just in wanting to talk about how you think it impacts everyone around you, that you're going to treatment and then, you come out, things might go okay, then you relapse.
I think it's like the people around me, they sort of get some relief. They're like, all right, he's willing to go back to rehab. But like it's this, everyone's very cautious. They're like, what are you going to do differently? Like it's sort of that thing. And it's really like nothing I say anymore really means much. It's about sort of what I do. And like people don't really listen to what I say. They'll just watch me and see what I do. Like the support I get is just like do more, say less sort of thing. Because by now, like I know how to manipulate people into thinking that I'm doing okay and sort of like just like talk my way through without really sort of doing the work. But it's sort of more what I do, not what I say or what I'm like thinking or how I'm like taking things in. It's about like the action that I'm putting in.
And that's a hard truth to swallow because most people in the world get taken on, like they can just say whatever and they're believed. So, and it's true, addicts forever they're not believed. No one's going to listen to you. Like it's all you've got to do the work. So it's a hard pill to swallow that everyone around you is just waiting on you to, to legitimately do actions speak louder than words.
And like the people around me, like my main supports and you guys, like everyone knows my stuff. So it's like I can't, even if I think I'm getting away with something, I'm never getting away with it.
It's true.
And like another thing I've learned from like being clean, it's like even when no one knows, I know. And it's like, well, what am I comfortable sitting with and what am I, and it's like I get clean and stuff sort of doesn't sit right with me. And it's like, I don't want to live like that. Even when I'm clean, it's like I don't want to have that feeling of like guilt or like I'm doing something, just have like clear conscience would be nice and just like not having to like cover up or like have to make up some reason, just to be able to live honestly.
Because that's the side that people don't see and I guess people don't care about, but it's exhausting.
Yeah.
It's the using drugs, the whole part. It's not just using drugs. It's the lying, the manipulating, everything that goes with it. And it is exhausting and you're stuck in this terrible cycle and it's so tiring. Being paranoid, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, 100%. It's and then to come into recovery, it's like for me earlier on, like now I'm sort of used to sort of, but like you come from this world where it's like, you sort of don't tell anyone anything. You sort of like, you have to, you're not vulnerable. You're not telling people like what's going on for you. And then to come into like recovery and rehab and you got to like tell people how you're feeling or like what you're afraid of, like, all this stuff. It's like, it's very like foreign.
And when you've done it a few times and when they know you, you've got to walk in the door and literally, we're sort of like, go, be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Hi, you're just in here, haven't even detoxed yet. Be vulnerable. We push you harder and harder.
Well, this time it was like, let's get to work. And that's what I need. I need someone to be like you got to start doing the work, because it is work.
Yeah.
It's 100% it's work. And sometimes it's really painful and hard, but it's so much more worth it than using them, just going around in circles slowly down. Like at least now, like when I have a hard day, it's like, oh, it's just a hard day. It's a hard moment, or it's just a painful thought. A lot of the times, like I get my thoughts mixed up with how I'm actually feeling. Like I could be actually feeling pretty good, and I'll just have these bad thoughts. And it's like, well, I just got to there's ways I can get through that. I don't need to sort of be consumed by it or act on it or, take it as fact. Yeah,
and that's so important.
Yeah.
To be making sure that you're aware of that. And that probably is also probably why it takes a little bit longer for some people, because you have to get that awareness.
Yeah.
It has to be front and center, and without it, and without the work, and I guess that's the theme of today really is that it's all been up to you. Like we can give you support, you can be given tools, you can everything, place to live, 5-star treatment, but it doesn't really mean anything till you are ready to do the work.
100%. And awareness is a massive one. There's just becoming aware of stuff is like a lot of things I wasn't even aware of. Like people are like, you're avoidant. I'm like, what's avoidant? Like I don't, like all these things that it's just like I had no idea. But over time it's like I can be like, oh yeah, like I do that. And I think that's what treatment's good for, especially like a TC, because you're living around people and like they're like, well, this is what you do. What are you going to do about it? And then I've got a choice. And I think that's what it comes back to.
Do you find that liberating and sort of free? Like I find personally, I don't know what you think, Josh, but I find the fact that I'm self-aware, and in that self-awareness I have to commit to owning it. I find it like it gives me this level of freedom because I'm always authentically myself, bad or good.
Yeah.
Or you're probably still in that stage of,
a little bit, maybe. I don't know. I think it can also be painful becoming aware of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, cool. Like I know why I do this and this is what I do. But it's also like when I'm still acting out on stuff that brings me pain and I'm aware of it, it's like it's almost more difficult because it's like I'm aware that this is my stuff and I'm still doing it.
About it.
Yeah, it's like I got to do something about it.
And you think about where, and there's some of that stuff too, whether it's from when we're kids or whatever, that you then get a bit sad when you are becoming aware. You get a bit sad because you're like, oh my God, I've done this my whole life.
Yeah.
That's really sad that was the mechanism that I chose to protect myself.
Yeah.
It starts the grieving as well once you become aware. So there's a lot of things that come with it.
Yeah, 100%.
But I hear you. It definitely, like, if you want some self-awareness, it comes with a price.
Yeah,
because
100%.
it comes with all the emotions attached to it and the options of, like, doing something about it, where before you're just kind of just going along, doing whatever.
Just autopilot.
Just autopilot, right? And that's totally normal. But when your world kind of expands and you open up that box, it's like, now it's yours to own.
And then, like, to understand where it came from as well. I think, like, that'll help me a lot because, a lot of stuff did come from childhood, even before drugs. Like, I picked up drugs as a solution. Like, a lot of it's like, I did this when I was a kid. So it's going to take me a long time to sort of, change that and, like, just be kind to, like, myself, which I feel disgusting even saying that. Like, be kind to yourself. But it's like...
What does that even mean?
Yeah. No, but
It's a foreign concept.
Yeah. It's like, I learned this behavior and it served me, and it's like, now it doesn't really serve me. It sort of gets me into, like, trouble a bit. It doesn't sort of align with who I want to be in recovery. But, like, I don't have to beat myself up for that stuff today.
Yeah. But that's the brilliant thing about, like, being in recovery, right? Like, there's people out there that spend their whole lives just on autopilot and not having the opportunity to kind of unpack any of this stuff. But when you burn your life to the ground multiple times, and I can speak from experience, that it presents the option of, like, okay, cool, well, I get to actually look at this stuff and my life can change. And like, I know people that are like 60 years old that have been doing the same thing, but they don't have a really close relationship with anybody. Like, there's no intimacy, there's no real connection. And that stuff from childhood's been holding them back their whole life. But they've managed to tick the boxes over time and create this illusion of what, like, a good life is meant to look like. But none of it is valuable at all. you know, so now you're in that kind of position where you get to build,
Yeah.
you know, and that's really nice. And I guess we're working with you over time. The one thing I've seen is this person kind of always willing, but now it seems like you've had the insight of some of the stuff that's been holding you back, and you've become teachable.
Yeah.
Right? I think with addicts, like it's natural for us to want to collect the evidence ourselves.
Yeah.
But then once you've done it time and time again, like you realize that, okay, maybe I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, but this person does know, and I'm going to trust that they know better than I do.
Yeah.
You know, and there's something really, I don't know, it's like uplifting and like freeing about that whole sort of mind frame.
100%.
Yeah, and that self-awareness too, I think. When you're actually in recovery, what it does is it allows you to connect. And it's a different, and you actually feel it. And that's what you've achieved. Building off what Josh said, that's what you've achieved. You now, like, we've always had a great relationship, but now I feel like you come in and I always imagine it like, I don't know, how you said little neurons and things. Like we just go click and we connect. You know what I mean? You walk in the room, we do click, and then we have our conversation and it's really meaningful and it's funny, or, you know, or it's deep or whatever it is. And then we go about our day. But until you're ready for that, it doesn't happen. And I think once you get building that self-awareness and taking some ownership, and you are being, you know, like you said, teachable, then you're open to this connection. And that's what people out there who have never, you know, been an addict or never done the work, they don't understand that connection. And I feel like that everyone in recovery has the ability to have this beautiful, I don't know, these beautiful relationships with others where, you know, everyone does really connect on a deeper level. And I see you in that space now, getting into that space where it's not just that surface level stuff.
Yeah. And in active addiction, it's all transactional, very shallow, like, and it's all just like, it's not really connection. It's just transactions and like, and I think that's what I've always wanted is some connection and like, and I think I sort of found that I thought I'd found that in drugs, but then being in recovery, like you meet people and it's like it's real connection, it's real support, and like, you know, and for me that's like people telling me things I don't want to hear as well, and like giving me hard truths and all that sort of stuff. Like, but yeah, I think that's probably what I've always been looking for is some sort of connection, and
but you haven't allowed it because you haven't been aware. So you can't. How do you do something that requires you to be self-aware? And when you can't be self-aware, and that's what I believe connection. You need to have some kind of self-awareness. People can't just go around connecting to everyone. Like it doesn't work like that. And you see in rehab the people who are still transactional and remain that way throughout their entire treatment versus the ones that are ready to get down to it.
Yeah, and I completely understand it. Like you come from using and then you get in recovery, and it's sort of like that's how you connect with people. You talk about crime, you talk about drugs and everything that comes with that life. But like there's so much more than that. And now I sort of like I don't really want anything to do with that sort of conversation. Like it's meaningless to me. I'd rather know like, you know, I don't know, other stuff about people.
And other people, like you seem to be more interested in others and what they're doing, and, you know, instead of just talking about nonsense.
I just remember when I got clean, like one of the things like was really hard to get over wasn't just the drugs, it was the lifestyle and the chaos of it all. I'm interested to know, like, has there been any sort of ruminating on that sort of lifestyle? Because I found it quite hard to transition out of that because it was easy for me to make money, but I knew it was compromising my values. It was all this sort of stuff. So I've essentially had to be broke in order to, you know, start again.
The most thing that I think about the most is like my only responsibility, or like my only sort of like I felt like it was my only responsibility when I'm using is just making sure I've got drugs and maintaining that. And now that I'm clean, it's like I've got to worry about all this other stuff like housing, bills, all this which is completely normal for most people. But then for me, it's like this stuff is stressful, and like I know if I'm using all I am worried about is just using. So I think that's that plays on my mind a bit. Is like how, because I don't know how to do a lot of that stuff. Like I've never really done it, and or when I have, like it hasn't gone well. So I think that's probably what goes around my head the most.
And that is normal life things, that we're talking about.
Probably normal
but
life
I don't even
things.
think people understand that. Like, I don't think they get it. Like, that is something that's really challenging for you to come out of rehab, be in recovery, and just normal life things, especially if you've never done that.
Yeah.
Like, if you've been using since you were young, there's, those fundamental skills that you needed aren't necessarily there. And that's where you need support long term to do those things. And you should feel really safe in being able to say, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah. And like one thing I'm learning is like managing money. Like I'm used to whatever money I get, it'll go straight away. But it's like planning for the future and budgeting and like putting things, that's not something I've ever done before. Just all simple stuff like that. To most people, that's what they do. But it's recovery is so much more than just getting off drugs. It's like I gotta learn pretty much how to do everything differently.
Yeah.
And learn things that I haven't really done, which to most people would be like, what are you doing? Like they wouldn't get it. But it's pretty much every area of my life that.
Yeah. And this time I think you've really leveled up and you're taking all that seriously, and so it's intense.
Yeah. I've got to. I don't have to. I've always got a choice, but I want to, definitely. Yeah.
So if there were people like listening or watching now, what do you think from your journey? What are the biggest things that you would want people to understand?
The biggest thing I'd want people to understand is that if you've got a shot at recovery, like try and make the most of it, because a lot of people don't get a shot at it. And like people that, like I'm lucky, like people that go back out and use it, like they die. And I've lost a lot of people to using. So I'd say like realize how precious it is.
Well, we're really, really proud of you. I am so proud of you, and I'm really looking forward to the next few months. But thank you for coming in today. I know you were nervous, but it's been wonderful. So thank you so much.
It's all good.
It's an amazing story. I mean, it just shows that recovery is not linear. There's ups and downs, and like someone like you that just keeps coming back and keeps trying. You learn so much more over those times. There's setbacks. You come back and you're willing, and you just learn more and more about yourself. Yeah. And it just becomes easier and easier over time as you keep learning. I think it's a good message for whoever's listening. That
like I sort of have the mindset of it's like, well, what have I got to like help people? Like like I'm just keep like relapsing, all this sort of stuff. But if I can help one person that's like keeps relapsing, like that's enough for me to come on here and share my experience.
I think it's a really important point that people avoid all the time. Yeah. Everyone wants to say, go to rehab, you're going to get your life back, and it doesn't always happen like that the first time or the second time or the sixth time. But we're really proud of you, and we love that you're here. Thank you so much, Ruby.
That's right.
Thanks.
Cheers.
You've been listening to Beyond the Noise from Arrow Health. For help or more stories, visit arrowhealth.com.au.